to kind of solve this issue was actually found in the gaming industry. Now, the gaming industry for decades had taken these visible processes and grouped them together. Now, when they're on their own, they're not actually that valuable, but when they're grouped together, it provides our data scientists with the financial viability to build their models. So, they now had storage sets and they now had the processing requirements. And over the next 10 years, our data scientists developed their methodologies and models, which takes us to the current day. What was not even contemplated 20 years ago is now very much an option, as organisations such as Keepme is now developing the power of predictions into organisations of all sizes. The great thing about this is that it requires that it secures sufficiency, it secures certainty, and the increased opportunity of AI is now given into the hands of all institutions. So I want to talk today a bit about some actual examples of where we could use AI in the short term. Of course, I will come on to the future, but let's look at where we can actually apply predictive technologies in our industries today. A key area that Keepme set out to solve was retention. The reason we kind of started with retention is we feel that when we speak to people in this room and the industry as a whole, that it's the area that people just don't have a handle on. And if this rings true to you guys, don't be too alarmed. The conversations that we've been having, frankly the hundreds of conversations we've been having, would suggest that you guys are not alone. So, when we initially set out to solve the issue of retention, we wanted to ensure that we could do so with a basic data set. Now, when I talk about a basic data set, essentially what I mean is a data set that we define in your member management system. So points such as member gender, member age, attendance data, that kind of thing. And what we wanted to do was marry our own operator experience with statistical modelling. And in doing so, we did pretty well. We managed to achieve about 65 to 70% accuracy rate. Of course, this is considerably higher than what we can do as humans on our own, especially when we're scaling this at a scale of 5,000 members, 10,000 members, hundreds of thousands of members, so it was still pretty accurate. But when we took out our own expertise as operators and we removed the emotion from it, the bias, and any influence over the data, we were able to achieve 90%, which is a considerable difference. Now, that is not me telling you with a 90% degree of accuracy that I can tell you which your members are going to leave you next month. That is me telling you with a 90% degree of accuracy which of your members are going to leave you in 8 months' time, or 10 months' time, or next year. This is a huge impact for our industry, and we would suggest a real game changer. So let's say I, Olivia, signed up for a gym in January, and it's now February the 21st, and I'm attending quite frequently. I'm pretty happy, I'm pretty engaged. Keepme could suggest to you as the operator that there's a chance that I'm not going to renew my membership. If you came and said to me, Olivia, you're not going to renew in December, I think you've lost your mind. Because let's be honest, no one that's just signed up for a year membership is going to admit that they're not going to be there in 10 years' time, in 10 months' time. But Keepme sees things that humans don't, and as humans we will have the ability to kid ourselves. Keepme works off of pure prediction. It doesn't work off of emotion or influence or bias. Always trust the data, always trust the model. So, this is how we do it. Now, I'm not going to get heavy on this one. This is not going to have you having flashbacks to your year 11 maths class, don't worry. But we do feel here at Keepme that it is our responsibility to explain to you how AI works, especially, as I said, as it's becoming an increasing part of our everyday lives. So, how do we get these prediction models to work so accurately? Well, first of all, as I said, we take your member data. So this is pretty much anything found in your member management system. Gender, age, attendance data, and we also can pull data from other sources. So say, for example, your NPS responses or any email marketing campaigns data. And the beauty of Keepme is that it will tell you if it's actually relevant or not. So once we have this data, the next thing we work with are these decision trees, which are behind me. We essentially take a basic data set, and then we branch off to yes and no, and then it forms an inevitable outcome. In the found forest method, we basically build hundreds and hundreds of these trees. So we look at every individual basic data set and build every single possible combination of that outcome. The way that we do it is we take all of your data and we use the first 80% of your historical data to build the model, and then we take the remaining 20% to test it. So we always can ensure that the model is 100% accurate before it sees the light of day. The staggering thing with this is that from just a basic data set that you find in your member management system of about 25 points, we can produce over 33 million decision trees, which obviously is a lot. But when they're used individually, they're not actually that useful. But when we combine them, we can produce highly accurate insights. Now, the geek in me would think this is the most exciting part. The interesting thing about this is that as our market is constantly evolving, you need a platform that's going to keep up with you. And the great thing about Keepme is that it's constantly refreshing every single second of every single day, as it's exposed to more data and therefore more potential outcomes. I must just stress also when I speak about the model, this isn't a one-size-fits-all model. If you're a 5-club operator, each of your clubs would have a different model. Each one is built completely uniquely and drills all the way down to the individual member level as we work out every single outcome for that member. So, these are our decision trees. So, what can we do with these individual scores? So, Keepme essentially scores every single member based on the prediction of risk of them leaving. Also, the prediction of the risk of them leaving at the next opportunity, not the risk of them leaving at their, when their membership's up. And this is really important. When we score each individual separately, it enables us to start asking questions like, for example, which of our group classes is driving better retention? Or say I'm a 5-state operator, why is one of my sites achieving an 83% Keepme score and then one only a 56? When we're armed with this information, it allows us to tailor our engagements so that we can speak to members in a way that is highly accurate and will probably improve the outcome for both. Now, these communications can be something as simple as an email, or an SMS, or an automated call list, so Keepme can ensure you're having those calls. Now, I'm sure you guys are already having those calls, but with Keepme you can secure and be confident in the knowledge that they will be successful ones. So, let's take an example of retention. As I said, we set out initially to secure the issue of retention, but what is the actual probability that we can improve this? Well, if I could tell you which of your members are going to leave, and in a time frame that would allow you to do something about it, surely you'd be able to help this. Especially if you have the tools within a platform that will enable you to automate a lot of the efforts you're already doing. So those communications I mentioned earlier and those engagements which are needed to retain that member. At the very, very least, we know that this approach is going to have a better impact than the generic sort of 12-week user journeys we see that's sent out to every single member in a one-size-fits-all model. So, let's move away from retention and let's move towards a different metric. Let's talk about referrals. We know the cost of acquisition for new members is going up month on month, especially when we look at, for example, social ads and the cost of social spend in general. It makes sense for us to look within our existing member base in terms of how we can drive new business. Of course, I'm talking about referrals here. So let's take NPS, for example. We all know today what an NPS is. But it is a short survey that we send members which asks them to rank us on a scale of 0 to 10. So let's look at 0 to 6. Now that means they're not really happy, something is probably going wrong here, and they're very unlikely to refer us to a friend or family member. On the other hand, if they score us a 9 to 10, for example, that means they're really happy with what we're doing and basically telling us that they are a prime candidate for referrals. We've actually had a client that's seen a 21% increase in their referrals since starting with Keepme, because we know that when we focus on retention, naturally other metrics in our business improve, such as revenue, and in this case, referrals. So let's take an example of an operator we had. They send out 100,000 NPSs every single year, and they get about a response rate of 35%, which is incredibly impressive. So that's like 30,000 to 3,500 responses every single year. When we look at that engaged membership, that is great, but they get kind of some mixed responses back. But they are getting a lot of 9 and 10s. And as I said, what these 9s and 10s are telling us is that they are prime candidates for referral. Now, I'm sure you guys are already using this, your MPSs in this way, but Keepme allows you a new level of accuracy. So say, for example, your 9 and 10 comes back, but they actually referred someone last month. It's very unlikely they're going to have a referral again this month. But they're still super engaged with our club, and we still want to engage them in a positive way. So we could send them a PT offer, for example. Also, we always talk about the positive, but what about the negatives in the situation? What happens when someone scores us a 3? There is nothing more annoying in any industry when we submit a low submitting NPS survey and we get a referral or renewal offer in response. It's just really irritating, and they're not going to refer someone or renew us. So Keepme allows you to turn that engagement into a positive one. So instead of sending out a generic referral offer, we could send out something that looks a bit like this. Hi guys, we're really sorry that you scored us a low scoring NPS score, and we're sorry you had a bad experience with us last month. Of course, it's completely unacceptable. There was no towels in the female changing rooms. This won't happen again. As a sorry from us to you, here's a code for a protein bar. Keepme allows you to seamlessly transfer a negative piece of feedback into a positive experience, which is always going to help with your retention. What I do want to stress here in terms of NPS as well is that NPS is not actually a retention tool. NPS is very much a customer feedback tool, which is great. We can use that to increase revenue, and I will come on to that. But it is very much a tool that is used for customer engagement. There's actually no statistical evidence that suggests that retention and NPS is linked. In fact, all we know is that we are 4 times more likely to keep a client that's referred even a low scoring NPS than one that didn't respond at all. So, we've spoken about retention and we have spoken about referral. But what about overall revenue? How can we use artificial intelligence to improve those second stream revenue points that we know are really important? So let's say I am a club and I've had a pretty good start to 2020. I've signed up 500 new members in my club. And my marketing team come to me and they want to push personal training, for example. So this makes sense. And what we're going to do is just send out a generic one-size-fits-all email to every single one of our members and hope that someone signs. No. With AI, you can take a completely refreshed approach to this. One that is tailored and one that is targeted. Now, we have an operator we know operating at a 30% increase in their second stream revenue through following this exact approach. So what is the approach? Well, firstly, we only speak to people that actually want our offer. So we can manage to send content to people that are actually going to be engaged with it, so activating our active members and improving our customer engagement without waking anyone that we don't want to wake up. Second thing we can do is send them the exact price or quantity point that they actually want. So again, we're not serving them with something that's going to turn them off, we're serving them with something that they actually want. But even armed with this information alone, as the operator, we still could be leaving money on the table. So this is actually one of my favourite examples because I've seen the results that it has achieved for our operators, especially the one with the 30% increase. Let's say I have a 1,000-person membership and my team wants to push something that's second stream, so class packages or personal training. Let's stick with personal training in this example. So great, we've identified who wants a personal training, but let's say I have a member called Ian, and he wants a 5-pack of PT, but he's never ever going to want a 10. Olivia, I want a 10, and Mel, she actually has never been interested in personal training. When we're armed with this information, we're able to tailor our communications so that it can improve the outcome for both parties. So in this example, I'm going to serve Ian the 5 and never the 10. I'm going to serve Olivia the full 10, and Mel, well, she's now a little bit interested, so we're going to serve her a free introductory session to try and get her engaged. So, we're sending to the correct people and at the correct price point. But with smart automation, we take this even one step further. We can send a visual aid which is relevant to that member. So for myself, for example, on the 10-pack, I could send an image of female, similar age and gender, and look to me so that the engagement really resonates. Now, with our operator increasing their second stream revenue, even alone in just the first engagement, even if the client didn't want that package, we're still increasing our member engagement, and that is something that we should never, ever take for granted. So, the great thing about Keepme is as soon as somebody meets this requirement, every single second of every single day, because the model is constantly refreshing, these automations are sent out without you guys actually doing anything about it. There is so little in terms of human intervention, so you can ensure that it's getting done, you can ensure that it's getting done a lot more accurately, and you can ensure that it's getting done for overall better performance. I hope that I've shown you guys today in my brief talk that there is a place for tech in our industry. We've got my zone here today, but for an industry that is so obsessed and in love with tracking our own personal workout data, we've managed to install this operationally in terms of our member data. Therefore, you guys already have the foundations you need to move into this predictive world. I tell you now, you don't need an extensive data science team, unlimited budget. All you need really is your laptop, your data, and obviously Keepme. The most valuable resource you guys have moving into an AI-optimized world is sat in your clubs, and that is your member data. Now, what I'm excited about in general is not to talk to you about what we are currently doing for our clients, but hopefully if we're here this time next year, to talk to you in the future about what we can do for our clients, as our knowledge and understanding develops every single day. Currently, artificial intelligence is a competitive advantage for operators, but very soon it will be a competitive necessity to keep up in our industry. Of course, I've only covered a fraction of what I could today, and me and myself and my colleague James will be around all day, so if anybody wants to speak to us, please feel free. But if not, thank you again, Mel, for the opportunity, and if there's any questions, let me know.
Has anybody got any questions for Olivia?